You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The first one that I'm going to start off with, and if this guy that I'm about to mention says, I want to play for Syracuse, you give him the national letter of intent, you have him sign it, and you run away. This guy, Alex Constanza, 6'8", 205-pound forward from Florida. He is currently a Rivals and 24/7 Sports composite 5-star recruit. He ranks anywhere between the 14th and the 21st best player in the country. So consensus top 25 overall. He recently officially visited Syracuse. It might have been actually exactly a month ago he did it, but that was very recent. He officially visited Syracuse. There's the connection right there. However, there is a catch with Alex Constanza. Alex Constanza is currently a 2026 guy. And 2026, well, you got to recruit 2026. This is about 2025. So why am I bringing him up if he's 2026? Well, the reason I'm bringing him up is because from his words himself, he has said this, it's quoted, that he's thinking about reclassifying to 2025. If he reclassifies to 2025, I don't know exactly where he would fall into in terms of prospect rankings, recruiting rankings, and all that fun stuff. I do know this, that no matter what happens, he's a blue chip guy. He's blue chip in 2025. He's blue chip in 2026. If he were to commit to Syracuse, could be the best player in Syracuse's 2025 class. And at worst, he would be the third best behind Sadiq White and Kiyan Anthony. I'm not exactly sure because his rankings right now reflect his 2026 grade. I don't know what it would be in 2025, but if I had to guess, at minimum, he'd be a top 50 prospect in 2025. He's really good. Constanza, according to scouting reports, he's long, he's an athletic wing, he's very smooth with the ball, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can defend. He's an all-around player. So if Alex Constanza says to Syracuse, hey, I want to reclassify to 2025 and play for you guys next season, you don't say no to that. That he fits under the category of if an elite player wants to play for you, you sign him. You get him right now. You forego that flexibility of the transfer portal because let's be honest, you might not get a better player than Constanza in the transfer portal. And the thing is with Alex Constanza is we could know in short order what he's going to do. He's got plenty of time. But that's why I mentioned at the very top of the podcast about the national signing days for basketball, the early signing period for basketball. There's 2 more days of the early signing period. He could make up his mind in relative short order. And if he does, he could literally make this announcement in like an hour from now. It could happen. I'm not saying it will, but it could. That's how quick recruiting can go sometimes. So if you're Syracuse basketball, you are trying to convince this kid to reclassify to 2025 and play for you next season and forego the flexibility of the portal. He's that good. He's that talented. He is a blue chip prospect. You don't say no to blue chip guys who want to play for you. So that's Alex Constanza. He is elite. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, leave a comment in the comment section below. Should Syracuse just keep recruiting hard for Alex Constanza to play next season or for 2 seasons from now? Because currently he's a 2026 guy. Could happen relatively soon with the early signing period going only for a couple more days. The next one that I'm going to talk about here is kind of a question mark. This one I've been going back and forth on, this player, and that's Ellson. Ellson is 6'10". He's 190 pounds. He's a forward or a center from Brooklyn, New York. It's tricky because he falls into the category of this is a position of need. Syracuse basketball, they have 4 players in their in their recruiting class, none of which are centers. Sadiq White is the biggest one at 6'8", 6'9". Ellson is 6'10". This is someone who could be pretty valuable for Syracuse next year. He could. So, do you want him to play for you next season? Do you want to keep recruiting him right now? He is a 2025 guy, so I shouldn't say, do you want him to play for next season? It's, do you want him to sign for you right now? It's tough. Because if you look, I'm going to give a further roster outlook on tomorrow's podcast, but Syracuse does not have a center on its roster for next year. Eddie Lampkin's gone. Naheem McLeod's gone. They're both out of years of eligibility. So you might want Asher Ellson just as your banked-in center for next year. But it's tricky again because he's not the most elite prospect in the world. He is not Alex Constanza. He's not. This is nothing against Asher Ellson, but Asher Ellson is a low-end 4-star recruit. He's rising, but he's a low-end 4-star. He ranks anywhere between the 97th best player over on On3, so shout out to him. He did crack the top 100 somewhere. 97th over on On3, but on sites like ESPN and Rivals, he's not even ranked. And I believe on 24/7 Sports, he's a 3-star. So here's my thing with Constanza. Or not Constanza, with Ellson, okay? With Asher Ellson here. I think that if you get Alex Constanza in the next couple of days, hopefully, I mean, that would be amazing. But if you do get Alex Constanza in the next couple of days, then maybe you hold off on Ellson. But if you know that Constanza is not coming to you or that he's not reclassifying, then I would go hard for Asher Ellson. I know it's very tricky to kind of navigate that. How do you say that to a prospect? But that's personally what I would do. That would be my plan of attack. Because I do want, if you get Constanza, that's 5 players. And you want flexibility for the transfer portal. You want minutes available for the transfer portal. So if you're going to get a 6th player, I don't care if it's a position of need. It needs to be an elite player. But if you don't get Constanza, then Asher Ellson in the next couple of days, if he wants to sign with Syracuse, sure, why not? Let's take him. Because they need a center anyway. Okay, fine by me. So that's my thoughts on prospects to maybe sign, hopefully right now.